So we're almost done, but I wanted to I was amazed by your story. If you're comfortable, I would really think it's beneficial to let people know what happened to you and why you ultimately decided to leave. So I'll let you go with that and tell the people what you want them to hear or what the truth, but you go for it.
So from the absolute beginning, I'll try to say everything exactly in the order it happened and exactly what they told me. Obviously, it's been a while now, about a week. Well, no. Yeah, a week and a half now. So I don't remember exactly the exact order, but I was in the middle of the class and I tabbed out to get my standbys. I had gotten every standby that day. I was so happy because I kept missing them from 4:30 a.m. Eastern to 8. And I had got all the way to 7 and I was going to grab my 7:30, or I had my 7:30 and I was going to grab my 8, something along those lines. And I noticed all my standbys were gone. They took them all away. And I'm like, I couldn't do anything because I was in class. I just sent a quick Skype message and said, hey, my standbys had all been taken away. Is there something we can do about that? And then while I was in class, I got a message from teacher development. And they said, hey, are you available to talk in the middle of class? I'm like, no, I'm not.
Because you can't elaborate while you're teaching.
Well, yeah, I just said no. I didn't even say no, I'm not. I just said no. And what happened after that? I finished the class. It was like 10 minutes later. I messaged them back like, okay, I'm available to talk now. No response. They didn't respond for about an hour after messaging me 10 minutes. They're always at the computer. There's no way they didn't see that message. Regardless, sorry. And I messaged the teacher urgency or whatever again and was like, hey, what's going on? I sent an email. I messaged, I don't want to say the name, but one of the staff members on Facebook. And then someone finally got back to me after 2 hours of trying to reach someone and said, a parent reported me for yawning. I can actually open the Skype and read the exact message unless I don't know, deleted it or something. I don't know if that's even possible, but it was something along those lines that, oh, there we go. Scroll. Okay, it says, hi Kiara, twice. This is Dale. Are you available for a short talk? I said no, after class. And then I said ready. No response. I said, is Dale or Gavin available? Because they said, if I just ask for someone specifically, someone will get back to me. They didn't. And then I had only a half hour more to talk because that was the day of my husband's surgery or something like that, and I had to go get him. And they finally responded and said, hi, Kiara, I'll let them contact you tomorrow. I'm like, I have no classes. You can't just...
So now you're just hanging there like, what's going on? I don't know what happened.
So they finally responded to me. They said, we have received complaints about your yawning during your class. Therefore, the team has to make sure you're energetic enough to teach the classes according to our policy. I explained, in most circumstances, that if a student yawns because they're tired, I fake yawn back because, they think it's funny. And I said it normally makes them laugh. They said, we'll investigate the case. Thanks for letting us know. And that was it. So I explained everything about my husband's surgery, how I'm the only one working right now. He's supposed to be going back to work. Well, he was supposed to go back to work today, but he took a PTO. He's lazy. I said, I can't afford not to work. My husband isn't working right now. Is there something we can do about the classes that you took away from me that I already had? They said, yawning is unacceptable, could lead to a termination of contract. Since you said you did it to interact with students, we'll investigate it and get back to you tomorrow. We'll tell the team to complete it as soon as possible. We understand your difficulties now. And I responded, I was under the impression that these investigations would be done before the removal of classes and after talking to the teachers. Because, just taking away classes, not saying anything, to me, that seemed kind of out of the box and unorthodox to me. I mean, obviously it wasn't for them, but I responded because clearly this wasn't happening with who I was talking to. I just asked if a staff member who was very good at speaking English was available. And that's the person that I had messaged on Facebook originally. They said they're in a meeting right now. I asked about all my standby classes that they took away, and they never said a single thing about it. I asked, what would happen if you guys do think I'm yawning in that class? And they said, we'll investigate it thoroughly. And that was my response, like not, do I get a chance to fight it? Or anything along those lines, just we'll look. And that was it. So
we'll let you know.
Yeah. So I posted on Facebook, on the Facebook page, the family page, just a general, a warning, not even just, an attack. So I guess that's why they let me post it.
I saw your post.
It said, so apparently a student yawns and I fake yawn laugh. They laugh, but the parents hate it. Don't do that because they'll take away all your classes or something along those lines. And they let it post. Actually, Frank posted it. So clearly it was okay with the staff that I posted it. He's a staff member for anyone who doesn't know. So he's the one who let that go through. And a bunch of people started commenting, and I explained what was going on in the comments, which if I had done that in the actual post, they would have never let that go ever.
Right. But
because it was in the comments, people were already reading it. They couldn't delete them now because people were already here. So the next day or something, no. They ignored me for another day. And then the day after that, the person that I had commented, Facebook message, he was the only one contacting me at this point because we were kind of friends while I worked there. He does not talk to me now because I'm not a magic ears teacher anymore, but we were kind of friendly at the time. He said, he called me and said, obviously I can't say this exactly, but it was something along the lines of the staff are really worried because the teachers are worried about their jobs. The teachers that were all commenting on my post. They said, because of my post and my comments that they're scared, and they wanted me to comment on my post saying, I really did yawn. It was a very obvious yawn. Oh man, I'm tired, all out. Obviously not that all out.
But not pretending. Like,
yeah.
For real, I did it. Yeah. It was my fault. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what they asked me to do. And at this point, I had no classes. I hadn't opened my classes with VIP Kid yet because I really, really loved Magic Years. I wanted this to work.
Yeah.
So I did what they asked. I said I really yawned. I made it a big thing saying, it was my fault. You guys don't need to be scared. The team's always on your side. Blah, 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 blah. And, excuse me. At first, I said it was a stifled yawn that, I did one of the, because the case was that I was in the middle of making a letter sound. It was like ah or ah or something along those lines. And I yawned in the middle of it. So I didn't feel the need to hide it. I just made a very exaggerated letter sound and said it was ah or something. Which, under normal circumstances is something funny. Not, that was definitely a yawn.
Yeah.
So whatever. They said that was a very obvious yawn instead of what it actually was. So he called me back and said, you can't say it's stifled. You have to say it was a yawn. And so I went back, I sighed, I edited it. And if he called me back, if it was like a 2-minute conversation, but I almost want to say he didn't call me back at all after I made that comment. But Frank did comment on the post saying, thanks for clarifying. And that was it. Again, one of the staff. So
yeah, he's the same one that publicly fired me from interviewing in the WeChat group before he told me I was fired.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
So that was the last communication I had with them for about 3 days. So we're at 5 days now, no classes.
Which is a lot of pay, by the way.
Yeah.
You're making $24 an hour and work as much as Kiara did.
Yeah. I explained to them at the base, the bare minimum, I was making $50 a day. just a random number I threw out.
Bare minimum. Yeah.
Yeah. And for 5 days, that's not that's not a little bit of money
That's
that
a
they
car
were just,
payment that you
yeah,
yeah.
that they were just not allowing me to make.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, I reopened my classes with VIP Kid. I said, just for my health, for my family, I have to do something. I can't wait for them to decide what they're going to do. I reopened my classes with VIP Kid, and the next day, I had all my classes. I opened only the peak slots because I still wanted to make time to, if they wanted to talk to me, that they could.
Mm-hmm.
And they were all short notice, so I ended up making the same amount of money that I was going to be making with Magic Ears anyway.
Yep.
So in the middle of my second class or something along those lines, I got WeChat. I got a WeChat from the staff member that I had on Facebook. We added each other on WeChat for a more convenient way of contacting each other. And he said, so I talked to the team. I'm opening it while I explain. And they said that we'd be able to do some training for you. They were going to retrain me.
After they fast-tracked you, by the way.
Yeah.
And,
after they
after they said, this is such a stellar teacher, she doesn't need to be trained. We're going to hire her and have her working within 48 hours. This is what happened. Okay, go on.
They were going to retrain me. Sorry, it should be right here. And I explained to him what I explained to you guys. I said, as a minimum, I make $50 a day with 5 days of no pay, and I know it's going to drag into the weekend, and you guys aren't going to do anything on the weekend. That's going to be 7 days of no pay from you guys. And then you're going to train me for what? 3 days? 8 days of no pay.
Unpaid.
Not 8 days.
Yeah.
So, that turns into 9 days of no pay. That's ridiculous for a yawn. Even if it was a real yawn. At this point, that's kind of crazy. He said, I'm not sure how I can help with that. Maybe I can get the payment team to talk to you. That was kind of just a blow off. Like, I can't do anything.
They're not gonna give you free money. Yeah.
No, they're not. And so I'm reading it now. It's right in front of me. I understand. I appreciate how I did this very polite. I appreciate how much you've tried to make this work. I can't give any more time and emotion and energy to this. It's clear you're the only one, the staff member I was talking to, you're the only one who wants me to work there. And I would make yet another mistake and jeopardize the trust they have in you. I haven't even made it to 300 classes. I was at 299, by the way. I haven't even made it to 300 classes, and I've never felt so horrible over a job. I'm just not good enough to be a Magic Ears teacher, and I understand that now. It was very, very polite. I took all the blame on me because there was nothing I can do by blaming him. He honestly, this staff member, honestly wanted to do the best he possibly could to get me working.
I think I already know who you're talking about without telling me, only because I went to Beijing this summer. I actually met them all in person. So, yeah. But it's the same one. He tried to help me a lot too. But then he's just in a spot. I mean, they're in a spot. They can't do anything. If the company, it's one person.
It's not his position. Even if he wanted to, it wasn't humanly possible for him.
Yeah, and you don't want to jeopardize, him losing his job either.
Yeah, by me yawning again. Yeah. I don't know. So I said, it's not going to work. And that was it. He did not respond to me again. So clearly we weren't that much of on a friendly basis, which I was okay with. I mean, there's nothing I can do about that. So yeah, that's what happened to me.
I am so sorry that happened to you. Like, it's well known. I see stories at VIP Kid even all the time, people saying stuff about yawning. Apparently it's really, I don't know, it's like a diss or something in China when people, it's disrespectful, and I get that, but you also know yawns are contagious. So when your students are yawning, it's almost impossible to not yawn back. And I do the same as you. I'll just be like, oh, you're so tired or something, and I imagine that's probably what you did. And I don't know. It's ridiculous is what it is.
I mean, obviously I was good enough to get fast tracked, Which if you don't know, anyone who's watching this, it just means you can get hired as soon as 48 hours. You skip all the training. Well, not all the training. There was a
Basically
1-on-4
get
training.
hired by the Beijing staff instead. And essentially what you don't realize either is that's Magic Year's way of cutting out all the secondary positions they're still advertising for people
Yeah.
to get. So, yeah. So anyway, it really made a lot of us mad that we're trainers and all these, because a lot of people come there for the
Secondary
possibility
position.
of getting secondary positions, which they're advertising for, but this fast track thing is eliminating all of that. And I just don't think it's wise because it's just creating a lot of problems. But that's me. That's a whole nother interview. But
it was just, I mean, I was active on Facebook, which they asked. They asked teachers to, comment, to review, to help other teachers. I was actually subcontracted from another teacher. I won't say who, but she handles the YouTube. So I was actually making videos for the Magic Ears YouTube. I was doing things beyond just teaching, and this is still how it turned out for me. So
wow, okay, that blows me away that she had you doing that. But I'm not gonna say any because I know who that is, and that's incredible.
Yeah, so I mean, she asked me because I was someone that teachers knew me, that they looked up to me. And I mean, even though I was only there for going on
Yeah,
3
because they
months.
put your face out there from day
Yeah.
one. I mean,
Yeah.
you were Insta famous. Everyone was like, where'd she come from? And what is going on? Like, I've been working my butt off for months, and here she is, famous.
So,
And we're all like, what is, okay,
so
Magic
maybe it
Years.
was a double-edged sword that they did so much they did so much for me that I actually wasn't qualified to do everything that they were asking of me, or that I was qualified and they kind of just decided she's doing too much, or whatever the case was. I decided, I wasn't going to keep fussing for them to allow me to work. Like that's absurd for me to be a good enough teacher to work for VIP Kid for 3 years, to only have it. I can count on one hand how many bad reviews I have. And one of them was because my husband went to Japan and I was sad and they thought I was tired. So I literally was like a sad face.
Yeah.
And they actually did invalidate it. So, there was that. But it was just, I can do all this for another company, but they won't even allow me to teach for Magic Ears. That's crazy. So in the end, this is how it worked for me.
Yeah. Are you thinking about applying anywhere else, or are you just going to be all in at VIP Kid for a while?
I did apply for Dada. They offered me $17 an hour. I don't know, because I mean, I'm only making $8 per class with VIP Kid.
That's what I get too. But so, when you do short notice, it ends up being 12 per class. Yeah. So, and they've been booking lately. So,
yeah, I mean, I think maybe I'll reapply for Dada after things calm down or figure out how things are going. But I think I may just be a purely VIP Kid teacher again. The reason I considered applying with other companies is because that the change of pace would have been nice.
Yeah.
The change of content would have been, something that brought the excitement back to whatever I was teaching. But it might just be easier to just do what I know.
Yeah. Well, the good news is there are a lot of companies out there, and I really, I can't speak firsthand yet. I'm hired at 2 other ones, but I haven't taught a class there yet, so I'm not going to vouch for them yet. But from friends I have that work at other places, it sounds like there's some really good opportunities out there, and this industry is growing so much that at least there's a place that you can put your eggs in another basket and give it a shot. You know what I mean? And they're not all going to work out like Magic Years.
I think that's my fear right now, is if I get with another company, it's going to turn out the exact same way.
But I don't think that other companies do things the way Magic Years does. They wouldn't give so much power to one person. And they wouldn't then, because what they did to me is they essentially blackmailed me. Like, they're controlling. They want to get their way, and they want to use you to bring other people to them because they need teachers really bad right now. So, I mean, there's people that I've interviewed recently that have gotten hired that would have never gotten hired when I first started interviewing because they need teachers that bad. And that's why they started the fast track thing amongst like saving money on the bottom line. But just the way they operate, they're just so unprofessional. Not all of them, but many of them. And just, it makes me sad because I was like you, I really wanted Magic Ears to be successful, and I just really don't think they're going to be because I don't think this rating system is sustainable. They keep saying they're revamping the supervisor system. They're not. It's not coming back. So they don't invalidate low ratings, and we all get 1 million of them, and that just breaks my heart every time. There's so many things, but either way. Yeah. Do you have any last words of wisdom? Anything else you'd like to get out that we didn't cover today? Anything like that? Anything.
I will say something good about them. When I was able to teach, if there was something that was wrong on my payslip, for example, they would fix it without any complaint. And I won't say that's the case for everyone, but it is something that was the case for me. Like, I did standbys all day for a day, and they paid me as regular classes. And if you don't look, no one will do anything about it. But I looked daily, and they fixed it, right then and there. So when they feel like it, they're great. They're really, really great. If it worked out, I really, really wish it did. I would have loved to continue working for them. It didn't. And I mean, if you can deal with kind of iffy positions, and that's what I'll call it now, iffy, maybe it'll work, maybe it won't, then that's something you should try. It was really, really fun. But if you want something sustainable, something that you know is going to be there,
you can count on to pay your bills.
Yeah, I would suggest something else.
I wholeheartedly agree at this point. Yes. All right. Well, Kiara, thank you so very much for meeting with me, for being honest, for letting everyone know what happened to you, because I know people are just dying to know. All they know is about the yawn, but then like you said, I had no idea that they asked you to lie about that. So that it's got to be a relief to like at least get your side out and be like, no.
That felt so good. Yeah? It would hurt my pride to have to lie.
I'm sure. Nana, I can't believe they asked you to do that. That is so unethical in so many ways. So for the teachers, I guess, that were scared about Kiara's thread and thought, oh no, this could happen to me, you have reason to be scared.
Well, I mean, I will say, they probably won't do it again now because then all the teachers will know that I was being honest. So they'll probably wait a few months before this has an issue again. But yeah, it was something that was an actual thing. It wasn't just, something that was actually my fault.
Yeah. Well, I'm so sorry. And I wish you all the luck in the world with your ESL career. And don't be afraid to reach out if you need anything from me, but we're like both at VIP Kid and whatever, but and I'll be leaving Magic Ears too, so I don't know what I can do for you, but I'm here for you if I can do anything.
Thank you.
Yeah, and it was really nice to meet you too.
You too.
Yeah. All right, well, thank you again, and I'll see you in the ESL groups and whatnot.
See you.
I never know how to end these. I don't know how to say bye. Bye. We'll see each other on social media.
Yeah. I have to re-add myself to all the VIP Kid ones now. But yes.
Yes. We'll be there eventually. Yes. All right. Thanks, Kiara.
Thanks.
Bye.